Hi, Phil Hundl here with a pipeline alert. This came to our attention. It's a Gulf South project. A couple of different names that you may see or hear are related to Gulf South, and it's Boardwalk is really the parent company, and then they have affiliates, and this is what we run across a lot of times is Gulf South Pipeline Company, LLC. And what I want to talk to you today about is a project that we became aware of. It's in East Texas. It's called the Texas Gateway Project. And it's once again, a natural gas, high pressure natural gas pipeline. And I'll walk through some of the details. It's 155 miles of pipeline, new 36 to 42 inch diameter pipe. And regarding where it's located, it begins up in Panola County and then runs south, and you can look at it as running south through Shelby County, San Augustine County, Sabine County, and then it runs into Jasper, and then it actually cuts across and it runs into Louisiana. With Gulf South, and Gulf South has a lot of projects that are federal projects or FERC projects, and that's what this project would be because it goes from one state to another. It parallels an existing pipeline much of the way. There are times when it deviates. This part of East Texas is beginning to get more and more populated with small ranchettes. Also, there's poultry industry there, a lot of chicken houses, a lot of landowners that are contract growers that have chicken houses that this pipe is having to deviate around. Once again, if you're in this area of East Texas, it's come to our attention that they're at the stage where they're beginning to make initial offers. And so you may have been approached a while back about a survey access and then actually probably thought that it was not going to happen. These FERC projects do take a little bit longer and they're on a longer time frame. But at this point, the landowners are getting their initial offers. The time frame on this project, and this is going off of what we understand, but I go back to these projects tend to expand the timeline, and so they are delayed, but it looks like they're talking about construction in the first quarter of 2028, but that could be from end of 2027 to 2028 or even 2029 as construction. Now, before they start construction, they will want to have all their easements acquired, and so go ahead and move that up, call it 6 to 8 months, so that they have the easements in place before they start any construction. So if you're a landowner being affected by this Gulf South project, the Texas Gateway project, it's extremely important that you evaluate their offer, evaluate their easement terms that they're proposing, evaluate the route that they're proposing to take. We oftentimes see preliminary routes a particular way, and then once they begin making the initial offers and final offers, the route may have somewhat changed, it may have significantly changed, still on your property, but significantly changed. Also, the things we have to really look at, and I'm gonna include a map of this project on the blog, but one thing that you really have to pay attention to, and I've gone over this in other videos, but know the scope of the project on your property. Is it going to just be a permanent easement area? If so, how wide is it going to be? Also, most likely it will include temporary workspace or additional temporary workspace. We refer to that as TWS or ATWS. But you also need to pay attention to the scope of the project on your property, and will there be any permanent access roads or temporary access roads, and that may have a significant impact on your property. So at this stage, definitely understand the scope of the project and how it will affect your property. And once again, always consult an attorney that handles eminent domain condemnation cases so they can walk through and review the scope of the project as it appears to be affecting will affect your property, so that you can better understand. And all that's extremely important in the negotiating of the easement terms, the working on a reroute if possible, and then ultimately the compensation.